picture. Isn't that a great picture of you? Oh, hi everybody. Welcome back to Carrie's Corner, where we continue with Frog and Toad together. And the good news is today we're going to add a chapter out of Frog and Toad all year. Okay, let's begin with the last chapter of this book called Dragons and Giants. Frog and Toad were reading a book together. "The people in this book are brave," said Toad. "They fight dragons and giants and they are never afraid." "I wonder if we are brave," said Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. "We look brave." "Yes, but are we?" asked Toad. There they are looking in the mirror. Frog and Toad went outside. "We can try to climb this mountain," said Frog. "That should tell us if we are brave." Frog went leaping over rocks and Toad came puffing up behind him. They came to a dark cave. A big snake came out of the cave. "Hello, lunch," said the snake. When he saw Frog and Toad, he opened his wide mouth. Frog and Toad jumped away. Toad was shaking. "I am not afraid." There they are with the snake he's not afraid of. I think he's afraid. They climbed higher and they heard a loud noise. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. "It's an avalanche," cried Toad. Frog and Toad jumped away. Frog was trembling. "I am not afraid," he shouted. There they are in the avalanche. They came to the top of the mountain. The shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock. The hawk flew away. "We are not afraid," screamed Frog and Toad at the same time. Then they ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake. They ran all the way to Toad's house. Here they are running. "Frog, I'm glad to have a brave friend like you," said Toad. He jumped into the bed and pulled the covers over his head. "And I am happy to know a brave person like you, Toad," said Frog. He jumped into the closet and shut the door. Toad stayed in the bed and Frog stayed in the closet. They stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together. And the last chapter of this book is the dream. Toad was asleep and he was having a dream. He was on a stage and he was wearing a costume. Toad looked out into the dark. Frog was sitting in the theater. A strange voice from far away said, "Presenting the greatest Toad in all the world." Look at his costume. Pretty fun. Toad took a deep bow. Frog looked smaller as he shouted, "Hooray for Toad!" "Toad will now play the piano very well," said the strange voice. Toad played the piano and he did not miss a note. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you play the piano like this?" "No," said Frog. It seemed to Toad that Frog looked even smaller. "Toad will now walk on a high wire, and he will not fall down," said the voice. Toad walked on the high wire. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you do tricks like this?" "No," peeped Frog, who looked very, very small. What a funny dream this is. "Toad will now dance and he will be wonderful," said the voice. "Frog, can you be as wonderful as this?" said Toad as he danced all over the stage. There was no answer. Toad looked out into the theater. Frog was so small that he could not be seen or heard. "Frog," said Toad, "where are you?" There was still no answer. "Frog, what have I done?" cried Toad. Then the voice said, "The greatest Toad will now—" "Shut up!" screamed Toad. Frog, where have you gone?" Toad was spinning in the dark. "Come back, Frog," he shouted. "I will be lonely." There he is, spinning in the dark. "I am right here," said Frog. Frog was standing near Toad's bed. "Wake up, Toad," he said. "Frog, is that really you?" said Toad. "Of course it is me," said Frog. And are you your own right size? Asked Toad. Yes, I think so, said Frog. Toad looked at the sunshine coming through the window. Frog, he said, I'm so glad you came over. I always do, said Frog. Then Frog and Toad ate a big breakfast, and after that they spent a fine, long day together as the great friends that they are. And now we have time to do one chapter from Frog and Toad all year. These are all by the same man, Arnold Lobel. Okay, here we go. The first chapter is Down the Hill. Frog knocked at Toad's door. Toad, wake up, he cried. Come out and see how wonderful the winter is. I will not, said Toad. I am in my warm bed. Winter is beautiful, said Frog. Come out and have fun. Blah, said Toad. I do not have any winter clothes. There we are, first chapter here. Frog came into the house. I have brought you some things to wear, he said. Frog pushed a coat down over the top of Toad. Frog pulled snow pants up over the bottom of Toad. He put a hat and scarf on Toad's head. Help, cried Toad. My best friend is trying to kill me. I'm only getting you ready for winter, said the Frog. Frog and Toad went outside. They tramped through the snow. We will ride down this big hill on my sled, said Frog. Not me, said Toad. Do not be afraid, said Frog. I will be with you on the sled. It will be a fine, fast ride. Toad, you sit in front. I will sit right behind you. The sled began to move down the hill. Here we go, said Frog. There was a bump. Frog fell off the sled. Toad rushed past trees and rocks. Frog, I am glad that you are here, said Toad. Toad leaped over a snowbank. I could not steer the sled without you, Frog, he said. You are right. Winter is fun. Uh-oh. Somebody's missing on that sled. A crow flew nearby. Hello, Crow, shouted Toad. Look at Frog and me. We can ride a sled better than anybody in the world. But Toad, said the Crow, you are alone on the sled. Toad looked around. He saw that Frog was not there. I am all alone, screamed Toad. Bang! The sled hit a tree. Thud! The sled hit a rock. Plop! The sled dived into the snow. Uh-oh. Lucky the snow is soft. Frog came running down the hill. He pulled Toad out of the snow. I saw everything, said Frog. You did very well by yourself. I did not, said Toad. But there is one thing that I can do all by myself. What is that? Asked Frog. I can go home, said Toad. Winter may be beautiful, but bed is much better. There he is going home. And that brings us to the end of today's reading. We're going to continue on Monday with Frog and Toad all year. So I think we've just done winter, so probably spring is next. Meanwhile, have a fun weekend. Hope you find some fun games to play and some books to read and get cozy and go outside when you can and have a great time. See you on Monday. Bye, everybody. And Frog says, bye, everybody. Have a fun weekend. Bye.